I was struck when you told me that a lot of times there's no data for you to look at. Why don't you talk about your current story a little bit and explain that?
Sure. Often there's no data. I don't know if you've seen the movie Spotlight, but there is a wonderful scene where you see us constructing a database of priests who we believed were suspect. We kind of figured out that in the annual Catholic Church directories, certain priests had strange-sounding assignments like sick leave or special assignment or emergency response, and we figured out that those were euphemisms for priests who had been accused of sexually abusing children and had been put on the shelf in one way or another. So as you see in the movie, if you've seen the movie, we went through all the church directories going back 20 years by hand, literally, finding every single priest with a funky sounding assignment, and we put them into a spreadsheet, and we did histories on every single one, the various parishes where they'd worked, and it ended up being a terrific guide to our work. My latest investigation has made a connection between people who are seriously mentally ill with an untreated mental illness and their connection to homicides. And after several years, really, of research, we found in the Spotlight team that more than 10% of the homicides in Massachusetts have been committed by someone with an untreated, serious mental illness. But to come to that conclusion, we had to build our own database of homicides and mental illness and kind of put those pieces of information together, and it was very, very difficult. For instance, believe it or not, there's no central repository of homicides in Massachusetts. Some are kept by the city of Boston, some are kept by Worcester, Springfield, Pittsfield, and the state police, or 5 different agencies we had to get this information from. And then we had to construct the part of the database about people with a mental illness who were involved in homicides, and that involved going through court records, reading old newspaper articles, doing Google searches of old news stories, and talking to lawyers and cops, and it was a very, very involved process. So sometimes getting to the truth of a story involves building your own database, creating your own work of reference.